Hi students, in the last session we have discussed about the classification of connective tissues, isn't it? Now with fresh energy and enthusiasm, let's begin with the areolar connective tissue. I told you that connective tissue proper contains three types: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and mucous connective tissue. Under loose connective tissue, areolar, adipose, and reticular tissues. So first of all, let's discuss about the areolar tissue. So connective tissue proper differentiated into three types. One is a loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and mucous connective tissue, isn't it? Mucous connective tissue. Loose connective tissue, three types are there: areolar, adipose, and reticular. We are starting with this one, areolar connective tissue. Clear, students? That comes under lecture 9 of animal tissues. Areolar connective tissue is the most abundant tissue of all the connective tissues. I told you that connective tissue is the most abundant and extensive of all the tissues, isn't it? So within the connective tissue, which is the most extensive and abundant tissue by widespread tissue, that is the areolar connective tissue. It is present in almost all the organs. All the internal organs are tightly packed because of the areolar connective tissue. For example, these are the different organs of the body. Here is the areolar tissue. Here is the areolar tissue. That is a dense packing material between the different organs. Almost all the organs of the animal body or human body, all these internal organs are densely packed by the areolar connective tissue here. In this way, it is the most abundant and extensively spread in the human body or animal body. Clear, students? So the first point to remember is it is the most extensive of all connective tissues. That is the first point. Most extensive of all the connective tissues is areolar connective tissue. It is packing material for all internal body organs. All the internal body organs are densely packed by the areolar connective tissue. Clear, students? And let's discuss what is the composition of this areolar connective tissue. I told you now in the previous session that the connective tissues are classified based on the types of cells present and the fibers present. Here also the different types of cells are there, different types of fibers are there. Okay, and that's the composition of the areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue, areolar connective tissue contains three types of materials. One is that different cells are present, different fibers are present, and a special packing material called as areolae is present. Areolae, of course, is not given in NCERT. Is between the lines we have discussing here. Only these are given. This is not given. This is between the NCERT lines. Clear? So different cells are present in the areolar connective tissue. What are these? Let's discuss. Bacho, you are enjoying. Hope you are enjoying, students, all of you. So different types of cells are there. What are the different types of cells? Fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are present. Number one. Number two is macrophages are present. Macrophages. All these are the different types of cells present in the areolar connective tissue. Number one, fibroblasts. Number two, macrophages. Number three, mast cells. Mast cells are present. Number four, adipocytes. Adipocytes. Okay. Number five, plasma cells. So these 5 different types of cells are present in the areolar connective tissue: fibroblasts, macrophages, mast cells, adipocytes, plasma cells. Now fibers, in the last session I told you a code, isn't it? Do you remember? What is that? REC, Regional Engineering College, reticular fibers are present. Okay. E for engineering, E for elastic fibers are there, and C for college, C for collagen fibers are present. All the 3 different types of fibers are there. And areolae, what is areolae? I'll explain here. What is areolae? For example, this is the uppermost part of the skin, topmost part of the skin. Here, this one's topmost part of the skin, uppermost layer of skin. The skin is, here are the striate muscles, for example. What are these muscles? Striated muscles. For example, this is the uppermost layer of the skin. These are striated muscles, because here skin is associated with the muscles, isn't it? Underlying muscles are there, isn't it? Here is a packing material. I'll draw with the other sketch. Okay. Here is a packing material. This is a packing material, and some gaps are there. These are called as areolae. Areolae is nothing but which one? The areolar connective tissue. See here, the uppermost layer of the skin is attached to the underlying one, that is called as striated muscles. This is red one I drawn. This is called as the indication of which one? Striated muscles are there, voluntary muscles are there. These muscles, voluntary muscles, are associated with the uppermost layer of the skin through the gaps. These gaps are called as the areolae. And it is also called as subcutaneous layer. What is subcutaneous? Cutaneous means skin. Cutaneous respiration we say, isn't it? Anything cutaneous means this one, skin. Subcutaneous means below the skin. What is subcutaneous? Below the skin is called as subcutaneous. So this is the topmost layer of the skin. Below the skin present, isn't it? What is meant by below the skin? Subcutaneous. What is a subcutaneous layer here? Areolae. Areolae is nothing but which one? Areolar connective tissue. So areolar connective tissue is the most extensive of all the connective tissues. It's a packing material for all the internal body organs, densely packed. And areolar connective tissue contains 5 different types of cells, 3 different types of fibers, and areolae, such gaps are present here. And there is a packing material between the different organs also, already told, isn't it? So for example, this is Y organ, this is a Z organ. It's a packing material like this here. This is the areolar connective tissue. It's a packing material for almost all the organs. Clear, students? So we'll be discussing first of all the fibroblasts. I told you now. First of all, let's discuss about the cells. 5 different types of cells, one by one. First of all, let's discuss about the fibroblasts, then we'll proceed to the macrophages. In this lecture, I'll be confining to this ones here. First of all, I'll discuss the fibroblasts, then macrophages. In the next lecture, I'll be discussing these aspects. Clear, students? So, fibroblasts, then macrophages. Okay, students, first of all, fibroblasts, the cells present, fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are the cells, one of the type of cells present in the areolar connective tissue, the first point. The cells present in the areolar connective tissue. And these are the most extensive cells present in the areolar connective tissue, because I told you that 5 different types of cells are present, out of which cells are most extensively present in the connective tissue? Fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are present, not only the most extensive cells present in the connective tissue proper, but also total connective tissue, which cells are highly spread, that is a fibroblasts are highly spread. Very, very important debate. A question may come like this: which of the following are highly spread in the cells are highly spread in the connective tissue? What's the answer? Fibroblasts are highly spread and most extensively spread in the connective tissue here. Number wise as well as the size wise also. So both in the size and number wise, these are the most extensive cells of not only the areolar connective tissue but also the total connective tissue. That's the first point. The second point is these are the immature cells. Fibroblasts are the immature cells, means undifferentiated cells. They are not differentiated properly. That is, they are not matured. Undifferentiated cells means they are not matured, immature cells. And the function of fibroblasts is to secrete, very important point, to secrete the fibers. To secrete the fibers. That's why they are called as fibroblasts. Why they are called as blasts? Because they are the immature cells. If it is a mature cell, that is called as a cyte, fibrocyte. The mature cells are called as fibrocytes. But because these are the immature cells, that's called as fibroblast. The most important function is to secrete the fibers. Different types of fibers are secreted within the areolar connective tissue and also the total connective tissue. It is a highly spread and most extensive one, okay, size wise and also number wise. These are the immature cells, undifferentiated cells, and they secrete the fibers present in the connective tissue. The fibers, as you know, are present in the matrix, extracellular matrix. In the previous session, I told you, isn't it? The fibers are present in the extracellular matrix. These fibers are mainly secreted by the fibroblasts. Next one is the mature. Now, these immature cells, sometimes they invade the bone. Sometimes they are present in the bone as the osteoblasts. They are present in the bone as which one? Osteoblasts. They are also present in the cartilage as chondroblasts. Chondroblasts. Anything osteo means bone, chondro means cartilage. Immature cells called as fibroblasts are present in the bone as osteoblasts and the cartilage as chondroblasts. And next point is these are the immature cells. Then what are the mature cells? Mature cells are called as chondrocytes. Chondrocytes. Cyte means a cell. A fully mature cell is called as cyte, and immature cell is called as a blast. So blast is secreting the matrix, extensively matrix, but mature cells called as chondrocytes secrete little matrix. Secrete little matrix. Very little matrix is produced by the chondrocyte, but high quantities of matrix is produced by which one? Fibroblasts. And they are present in the bone as osteoblasts, cartilage as chondroblasts. Clear, students? That's all about the fibroblasts. And next one is the second cell is called as the macrophages. The second cell is called as the macrophages. Macrophages. This is very important from NEET point of view. Very important. All of you note down. Macrophages. This contains this. Before explanation of this one, I should explain a little background for this one. One of the type of formed elements, that is blood cells, are called as monocytes. Monocytes. You know, these monocytes and lymphocytes are called as agranulocytes. We'll be discussing this one under the blood, not now here. But a brief explanation of monocytes. Just remember that they are the agranulocytes, does not have the granules. They are called as agranulocytes, monocytes and lymphocytes. Okay, lymphocytes छोड़ दो, बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. Now here the monocytes are produced by the bone marrow. Bone marrow. Bone marrow contains the stem cells. Bone marrow contains the stem cells. From the stem cells present in the bone marrow, the monocytes are formed. And these are present in the blood. What are monocytes? They are nothing but the agranulocytes present in the blood. A type of WBC, that's it. A type of WBC or called as monocytes present in the blood. This is the blood, for example. So bone marrow contains the stem cells. From the stem cells, the monocytes are formed, a type of WBC, which are present in the blood. Okay, this is okay. And some of the monocytes, they go to the connective tissue. Clear? So here is the connective. For example, this is the connective tissue. Let's assume that this is the connective tissue. What is this one? Connective tissue. Once they invade the connective tissue, the monocytes become very larger cells. For example, these are the monocytes. Once they go to invade the connective tissue, they become very larger sizes, very larger cells like this. And these are called as macrophages. Macro means very large. Micro means very smaller. Isn't it? Microscope we say, microorganism, very smaller one, chote se, isn't it? And macro means very large. Phage means eating. So, bone marrow contains stem cells. Some of them get differentiated into the monocytes, a type of WBC. These monocytes are the cells present, a type of WBC present in the blood. Some of the monocytes, they go to the connective tissue and become very larger cells. And here they are called as some macrophages. Okay, most of the macrophages are present in the connective tissue. For example, let's assume that 100 are there. Example, okay, for the sake of understanding, almost 70 are retained in the connective tissue, and rest of them, they go to the other places. Macrophages, most of them are retained in the connective tissue, but a few macrophages, they go to some other places of the human body or animal body. When they go to the liver, they are called as the Kupffer cells. When they go to the lungs, they are called as the alveolar macrophages. When they go to the nervous system, NS, they are called as the microglia. When they go to the skin, they are called as the Langerhans cells. Okay. When they go to the placenta, they are called as the Hofbauer cells. And when they go to the, I'm writing here, bone, they are called as the osteoblasts. Clear, students? So, etc., many other sites are there. I repeat here, bone marrow contains the stem cells. Monocytes are differentiated from the stem cells present in the bone marrow. They are nothing but WBC present in the blood. Some of them, they go or invade to the connective tissue. Okay, and they become very larger size cells called as macrophages. The macrophages are present in the connective tissues. But some of the macrophages, they go to some other places of the human body or animal body, and they get differentiated into some other cells. Within the bone, they are called as osteoblasts. In the liver, they are called as Kupffer cells. Lungs, they are called as alveolar macrophages. Nervous system, nervous tissue, they are called as microglia. In the skin, they are called as Langerhans cells. In the placenta, they are called as Hofbauer cells, etc., here. Now those which are retained, because I told you that most of them macrophages are retained or present in the connective tissue, and they are called as the histiocytes. Histiocytes. What is histone? Histone means a tissue, isn't it? Side means cell. So the macrophages which are retained in the connective tissue, they are called as histiocytes. This is the present discussion now. Clear? So very, very important from NEET point of view, compulsory question here. This one, so whichever we are discussing now. So histiocytes are present in the connective tissue, and in the connective tissue, many bacteria and other microbial organisms are there. They should be killed, and that is a function of histiocytes. So you take macrophages. Any macrophage is amoeboid in shape. You see here, any macrophage is amoeboid in shape. Amoeboid. What is amoeboid? Amoeba-like. What is the shape of amoeba? There is no regular shape. It can be present in any size, any shape, isn't it? So amoeboid shape is there. Amoeboid. This is the cell cytoplasm. And here is a nucleus. The nucleus is kidney shaped. That's why it's called as a reniform. Reniform means kidney shaped nucleus. Kidney shaped nucleus is there. Very important point. So what is the shape of this macrophage? Amoeboid shape with a larger cytoplasm, lesser nucleus is there. The nucleus is reniform, means kidney shaped nucleus is there, and many lysosomes are there here. This is a very important point. Lysosomes are present in the lysosomes. For example, these red structures are the lysosomes. Because of the presence of lysosomes, it appears as if it is a granulocyte. Actually, this is a agranulocyte without the granules. But because of the presence of these lysosomes, it appears as if it is a granulocyte because of the lysosomes. Now, what is the function of lysosomes? They devour, they eat the bacteria by engulfing and killing here. For example, here is a bacteria. So this is the bacteria, for example, this is bacteria. Once it sees the bacteria, it won't sit calm. Just like our soldiers kill the terrorists, isn't it? In the same way here, you see, this is engulfing and killing here. This by extending its plasma membrane here, this is called as engulfing and killing the bacteria. So this extension of plasma membrane around the bacteria is called as engulfing and killing the bacteria, and this process is called as phagocytosis. All of you note down, phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis now? The process of engulfing and killing the bacteria is called as phagocytosis. Now, once the bacteria is taken inside, what are present here? Lysosomes are there. The red structures here. The lysosomes will digest the bacteria. In this way, the connective tissues are totally get rid of these bacteria because of the histiocytes which are present. Histiocytes are nothing but the macrophages present in the connective tissue here. In this way, what happens? The total connective tissues are free of any bacterial infections. Hence, the nickname of macrophages is internal body scavengers. Internal or inner body scavengers. Why? Because they scavenge or kill the dead cells, the useless cells, the bacteria and other microbial organisms. In this way, the connective tissues are free of any infections. That's why these macrophages are called as the inner body scavengers. So this is about the second cell called as macrophage. The first one is called as fibroblast. The second one is called as macrophage. The rest of the cells will be discussed in the next lecture. Okay, students. Hope you enjoyed the session. Okay, if you enjoyed the session, comment below, all of you students. See you, bye, all of you. In the next lecture, all of you, bye students, all of you.